The module that it was used for is Values and Ethics in Offender Management and Public Protection. So it's a subject area that really lends itself much more to discussion and debate about personal values and professional values. In terms of planning how to use the blog, I wanted to give the students some motivation to engage with that. So rather than make it an optional learning activity, it was planned into the writing of the module and attracted 30% of the marks. Students were encouraged to complete all 7 blogs, but the expectation was 5. Over 50% of the students completed 7 blogs. Initially there was some resistance and groans and mumbling about how achievable this was, but I had them divided into learning sets of 5 students. So just the 5 students and myself would have access to that one group to try to make it feel less threatening. I wanted to track their progress with the blogs, really so that I could flag up anyone who might be struggling. So in the first 2 weeks I gave feedback to everyone. Once a group had found its momentum and found their way, my feedback tailed away and I allowed them to kind of grow and develop, where they were challenging each other's and making suggestions about each other's learning, maybe recommending other pieces of reading. I think the most pleasurable experience was seeing people who were nervous about it at first getting really involved and engaged in what was good professional discussion and debate. And sometimes I was worried that they might be doing too much. Some of the debates were really quite exciting. So I actually feel that they learnt much more. It was clear they had to engage in the reading that I'd given them. I'd give them a chapter to read, then specifically ask them to incorporate that into a discussion of a different theme each week. The hard task for me was actually keeping up with giving them feedback on their blogs. But I actually found them quite rewarding, particularly when they worked well. I think that the peer-to-peer aspect of learning was something that was really important in this, and you could see how people were actually making suggestions that were encouraging people to think of issues that they hadn't considered before, and people were bringing a range of different experiences and perspectives to the learning environment. Results that we've seen demonstrate that it's possible to give formative feedback to improve those study skills before the student gets to the point where they might fail an assessment because of that. And I think that that can only have a beneficial impact for the other modules that they're studying simultaneously, because they've actually thought about what they need to do. They've thought about referencing, about critical analysis, about moving on from a more descriptive way of writing. The big lesson I've learned is to try to get a bit of background on students so you don't end up with a group that is not going to work as well. You can't ensure that, but I think to try to plan that out as best you can. I think the other main thing is not to let any kind of fear of the technology put you or the students off. It seems more complicated than it is because it's in language that is new to some of us, new to some of our students. But actually it is no more complex than putting pen to paper and pressing submit. A job satisfaction perspective for myself, it was far more rewarding to see the lights going on about critical analysis in the student sooner rather than later. So actually having a kind of conversation informally with them, alerting them to possible difficulties that they might face when they felt that they were actually empowered to do something about it. The biggest Christmas present I had this year at the end of the blogs was one of the students actually saying, "I will miss this when it's gone." And I felt quite overwhelmed by that. For me, that was probably the best signal that something somewhere had worked.